We start with news out of Quantico, Virginia. 3 Marines are dead, including the suspected gunman. A shooting at the Marine base erupts. According to a spokesman at the base, the suspect first shot one of his comrades, then barricaded himself with the second victim, shot and killed him, then committed suicide. The standoff began around 11 last night. The base was put on lockdown for a while. No names have been released, but base officials think that the suspect was a staff member at the base's officer candidate school. Stay tuned for further updates. Happening now, a tough morning in Loboland. We all expected to be celebrating a big Lobo win in Salt Lake City, but it's the exact opposite this morning. Matt has the details of this disappointing loss. Matt.
Oh, disappointing to say the least, Elizabeth. I mean, Harvard? Really? I mean, that's what a lot of people are saying this morning. Really? Harvard, guys, come on. I mean, after it seemed the Lobos just could not make any shots last night.
We've dodged this bullet a lot this year by having bad shooting nights and still being able to get wins, and we weren't able to dodge that bullet tonight.
We just really didn't step up like we do in the last little stretch to kind of stop them totally. That last 6 minutes, 7 minutes of the game, we talked about it, and we really just didn't step up.
All right, let's go back to the first half for a minute. That's where the problem started for the Lobos. It took the guys more than 4 minutes to score that, their first single point. They did get back into it, though. Sweet jam by Kendall Williams. In the second half, the Lobos were down by just 4 points, but they could never take a solid lead. Instead, Harvard did, upsetting the Lobos 68-62 and bouncing them from a tournament win when most of us thought the guys could make it to the Sweet 16.
Well, yeah, it's always a setback. You never like ending your season. You know, I got a group of guys in the locker room that have played extremely hard and played extremely well all year long. We've had a tremendous year, and we lost here in the second round. It doesn't taste well.
No, it doesn't. It's going to be a long plane flight back from Salt Lake. Now, just to give you an idea of how badly the Lobos shot last night, their 2 main shooters, Kendall Williams and Tony Snell, had just 17 points total. The whole team, just 35% of their shots went in, Elizabeth.
Yeah, that is just too bad. You know, but on the bright side, the Lobos had a season-high 12 steals last night. And the other silver lining here is that all 5 starters should be back next year. And even though the Lobos are out, the NCAA goes on. Here is today's game schedule here on KRQE and a programming note to tell you about. There is no noon news today here on KRQE. Instead, the second round of games from the NCAA basketball tournament will air. Games are Albany versus Duke and Cincinnati versus Creighton from 10 until at least 3, depending on how long those games run. Then tonight at 5, the NCAA second round continues. Iona takes on Ohio State, then Iowa State is up against Notre Dame. Van Tate will have the highlights on the late edition of News 13 after the games. And happening now, Albuquerque police are on the hunt for a man they say killed his baby boy. Police were called to this northeast Albuquerque apartment complex back in October because they say the baby stopped breathing. The baby's father, 21-year-old Luke Westfald, told police that he had fed his son, then put him to sleep. But about 20 minutes later, he claimed the baby started gurgling, then just went limp. Paramedics could not revive the baby. OMI says that the baby actually died from blunt force trauma to the head. Police are now searching for Westfall. He's wanted for child abuse resulting in death.
We could find out as early as today if charges will be filed in that deadly shooting that rocked a quiet neighborhood in northwest Albuquerque this week. On Tuesday, a man was driving home in his Ventana Ranch area. He says he saw Jonathan Mitchell hiding between 2 cars in his driveway and holding a gun. So here's what that guy did.
Called his family inside the residence and asked them to find a safe place within their home because the man was in their driveway with a gun.
Police say one person inside called Donnie Pearson, their neighbor. Pearson had his own gun. Police say as he went up to Mitchell, Mitchell shot first. Pearson fired back, killing Mitchell. Prosecutors now have the case. They'll decide if Pearson will face any charges.
Things are starting to change this morning at the Bernalillo County juvenile lockup after allegations surfaced that a guard may have gotten an inmate pregnant. A rape lawsuit has prompted the county to start using stricter procedures for escorting inmates. The county is also thinking about putting a surveillance system to reduce any blind spots at the facility. A former inmate claims that she was coerced into having sex with 41-year-old Edward Edmond when she was just 18. Edmond no longer works as a jail guard.
Well, another one of those deadly shootings by Albuquerque police is justified. That's what the district attorney is saying this morning. Officer Mario Perez killed Mark Beecham in a gun battle outside of the Catholic Center near St. Pius High School last year. Beecham broke in and stole a safe. Police say he saw Officer Perez and started shooting. Then Perez shot back, killing Beecham. Now, that ruling was the first with a new way that police shootings are going to be reviewed here. Those cases used to go to a special grand jury, which could only rule whether a shooting was justified or not. But from now on, the district attorney's office will decide if a shooting is legit. If it is not, the case can go on to a regular grand jury, which has the power to indict police. A judge ordered these new rules, but Bernalillo County's district attorney likes the old system better.
We felt it was important to have citizens who don't work with and have relationships with law enforcement officers to weigh in on that.
Now, with the new rules, families of people killed by police will have some input.
This morning, the district attorney is now dealing with the case concerning a deadly crash involving an APD sergeant. Sergeant Adam Casals was off duty last month driving his official SUV when he ran a red light and crashed into another car, killing 21-year-old Ashley Browder. Casals had his emergency lights on and claimed that he was searching for a drunk driver, but officials say that there is no evidence of any drunk driver in the area. The Bernalillo County Sheriff's Department is not saying what its investigation found. The DA's office will now evaluate the findings and decide whether to file charges. Authorities are investigating a bad wreck involving an Albuquerque City bus. It happened yesterday morning at First and Gold. The bus hit a car as it was going through the intersection. 2 people in that car were transported to the hospital. Only one person was on the bus. They were not seriously hurt, but witnesses say the whole thing was pretty scary.
There were people on the sidewalk. Everyone was trying to duck and run, and we thought the bus was going to come up on the sidewalk, but the driver was doing a really good job making sure that didn't happen, and it was scary.
Some witnesses claim the bus had a red light. Others say it had a green light.